Smackdown opens the show with Cody Rhodes. He ends up basically calling out Kevin Owens. Calls out Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens doesn't show up. Nick Aldis shows up instead. He comes out and basically tells Cody Rhodes that Kevin Owens isn't there and that he doesn't want him to be in the arena until they resolve their issues. Cody ends up responding back, ends up telling Nick Aldis that, look at it from his perspective of, being a wrestler, having to fight, that he used to be a former wrestler, understand it. He should be able to understand where he's coming from. And then he mentioned how KO is putting the blame on him and that it's unfair, that, he's the one getting blamed for, Randy Orton getting attacked, mentioned the friendship and all that. It was a really good promo. Next week, KO will be on the show. They end up showing a segment where he was in his car again. He cuts a promo, basically showing his frustration, but he ends up saying that he's going to be there next week due to Nick Aldis inviting him, and that he doesn't want to show up, but he's going to show up anyway, and that all he's doing is just doing his job. I like what they're doing here. This is really good. Can't wait to see how this plays out. I'm assuming there's going to be some type of brawl, in my opinion, because with Randy Orton being injured, have KO Cody for Survivor Series, I'm assuming. I'm assuming that's the plan because Cody has nothing to do for Survivor Series. So I'm assuming that's how they're going to play the story out. KO probably attacks, set up the match for Survivor Series. That's what I would do, but who knows? Maybe Triple H has something else. But this was a good way to open the show. After this, we end up getting the first qualifying match. They end up running a tournament for the U.S. Championship. Bayley, Candice, and B-Fab, they're running all triple threat matches. Bayley picks up the victory. It was very obvious that Bayley was going to win. Very obvious. She got to make it far to establish the title. Now, I do want to talk about the bracket, though. The bracket worries me because you have the next, on the same side, you have Bianca, Chelsea, and Blair Davenport. Chelsea Green is not winning, so let's eliminate her. And the more I thought about it, it didn't make sense for Chelsea Green to win because the way they build her character, she literally has to cheat in every match to win. And I'm like, there's no way they're finna have her cheat all the way to the finals and cheat in the finals. I just don't see it. Bianca is clearly going to win, advance, so they can do that Bianca and Belair rivalry. Then on the right side of the bracket, they have Jade, Michin, Piper, and then they have Naomi, Tiffany, and Elektra. Yeah, I am not liking this bracket because something tells me they're doing two things. Either Bayley and Naomi are going to make it to the finals, or Bianca or Jade making it to the finals. One or the other. Somewhere in that four are making it to the finals. Like, because Michin is not beating Jade. Now, you could do a thing where Chelsea interferes and costs, but I'm not liking this bracket. I'm going to be honest. And then they're saying that this is for Raw and SmackDown, which I'm assuming they're going to start the Raw bracket on Monday. I'm going to assume as of right now. So, but it's kind of confusing because they said the finals so maybe the finals of the SmackDown, then the winner face Raw. I don't know. It's a bit confusing. We got to see how it plays out on Raw to see if they have a tournament. Because I'm like, if only SmackDown has a tournament, but it's cross-brand, that kind of doesn't make sense. But this bracket worries me, but we just got to see how it plays out. After this, we end up getting LNA and Santos Escobar. They basically rehash what they did a few months ago, basically, where they have Santos comes out, talk trash. LA Knight ends up destroying him, and then they end up having a match. But this time, they end up doing it with Berto instead of Santos. This time, LA Knight ends up retaining. Obviously, I know some people are going to look at this and be like, why did this happen? To be fair, like I've been saying, LA Knight doesn't have challengers like that. So, and I actually preferred this over Santos Escobar because I did not want to see another Santos Escobar match. I don't want to see another rivalry from that in general. I don't hate Santos. I think he's okay, but I didn't want to see it again. So I'm glad that they switched it up and had Berto face LA Knight instead of Santos Escobar. After this though, Shinsuke Nakamura, I don't know why I couldn't pronounce his name. He ended up making his return and ends up attacking. He ends up attacking LNA. So that looks like that's going to be his next feud. Thank God. I don't know why it took so long for him to be here on TV, but this is good. LNA needs a challenger. SmackDown needs more bodies in that mid-card scene, so this is good. This is a threat that he's not going to win, but this is a feud you could probably run for like 2 months. Yeah, you could run this feud until like the Royal Rumble. They could have a 2-match series. LA Knight beats him back to back. You could have him run Survivor Series and then Saturday main event, and then the Royal Rumble. You could do whatever, but yeah, I like this. Yeah, this is really good. Now we end up getting Bloodline 7. The Bloodline, the OG Bloodline, new Bloodline, they end up having a brawl. The new Bloodline ends up standing tall. But the thing I mainly want to talk about is Bronson Reed coming out, helping the new Bloodline. Gonna be honest here. I do not like this at all. Now, I know a lot of people got spoiled about who was going to be in the Wargames match, and a lot of people was like acting crazy, and I just didn't understand it because I didn't get spoiled. Now I understand why, because why? Like, I love Bronson Reed. I do. But why did we need fifth members? Like, we did not need a fifth member. And if you was going to do a fifth member, I'm just going to be honest. The only people I logically wanted to see in terms of realistic options, because we know The Rock and stuff wasn't going to show up. If we was really going to get a fifth member, the only fifth members that made sense, in my opinion, was Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes due to their history. Now, I know some people are going to say Seth Rollins makes sense to a degree. He has history with Roman. He doesn't have much history with the Bloodline. Yes, he fought the Bloodline before, but in terms of real history, majority of his history is with Roman. So that's why I really didn't want to see this. But also, I don't like how they did this because why does Bronson Reed want to help the Bloodline? Like, he has no reason to help them. He has none. This would have made more sense if Seth Rollins agreed first. Didn't Bronson Reed join the other Bloodline just to face Seth Rollins? That would have made sense. It still would have been stupid, but it would have made more sense. Why would Seth Rollins join the Bloodline? It would have made sense for him to join first. Then Bronson Reed joins. That way he could just fight Seth Rollins. That would have been the better story, but maybe I'm tripping. The match is going to be amazing, but why? We didn't need Seth and Bronson Reed. We didn't need it. This doesn't make sense. They clearly forced this. We didn't need a fifth member. You could have just done 4v4. Should have just been 4v4, but it is what it is. We'll just see how the match plays out, but should have just been 4v4. Should not be 5v5, but it is what it is. Now we end up getting tag team match for the tag team titles between Motor City Machine Guns versus Street Profits. They put on a really good match, but it ends up being a disqualification due to Tommaso Ciampa attacking the Street Profits, of him being frustrated with the Street Profits getting an opportunity before DIY. Then you get Johnny Gargano trying to play Peacemaker here, but Tommaso Ciampa actually ends up pushing Johnny Gargano towards the ground and ends up leaving the ring. This is very interesting. And then afterwards, Angelo Dawkins ends up smacking Alex Riley, if I'm not mistaken. No, Alex Shelley. That's his name. Alex Shelley. I don't know. Yeah, he ends up slapping Alex Shelley. So it looks like they're teasing. Some people have been saying that the Street Profits are going to turn heel, which I wouldn't mind them turning heel. I just don't see the reason for them to. If you're going to turn them heel, you got to pull the trigger on them, in my opinion. You can't have them turn heel and then we do like a 6-8 month build up and then they no. If you're going to have them turn heel, it needs to be like a good 2 to 3 month build up and then they finally win, if that makes sense. They're already teasing DIY. I don't think we need both tag teams to be heels right now. I'm liking the DIY stuff, if I'm being honest. Now, hoping that Johnny Gargano follows suit and becomes a heel himself, because I don't think we need a split up of DIY. We already don't have much tag teams. We need tag teams, okay? We already don't have that many tag teams on the roster. We do not need less of them, okay? Like, especially with separate brand titles too, keep them together. We do not need more tag teams splitting up. Now we end up getting the main event with Naomi, Nia Jax for the WWE Women's Championship. This was very obvious. We knew Nia Jax was going to win, but I will say they did a very good job of making it convincing that Naomi was actually going to win. They did a very good job with that. I will give them credit there. It was a lot of interferences. You had interferences from Tiffany Stratton, Bayley came out, Candice LeRae. It was a lot of interferences. But then backstage, it was a segment where Bianca and Jay was getting attacked by Liv Morgan and Raquel, so they couldn't help. They're basically building up war games for the women, because before this segment started, they ended up having a segment where Naomi is going to be in the War Games match with the women, but Bayley was talking to her, then Jade and Bianca come, and Bianca still has issues with Bayley, still doesn't make sense that she likes EO, but whatever. So it looks like they're going to do War Games, even though they shouldn't be doing War Games, because the story doesn't make sense at all, and their rivalry isn't that deep. So, and we already know who's the fifth member going to be for War Games. It's going to be Bayley. We already know the fifth member for the baby is going to be Bayley. And we already know the story they're going to tell. Can they coexist? Which the story of can they coexist isn't bad. I'm just kind of over it with them two, and it doesn't make sense. But overall, SmackDown was a decent show. It was a solid show overall. Stories progressed. Yeah, it was a solid show overall. Don't have much to say here, but you guys let me know your opinions down below. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. But yeah, that's it. Also, can't forget, I can't believe I almost forgot about this. Towards the end of the show, Roman Reigns, well, before that, throughout the show, they kept on mentioning Jimmy, well, mainly Jay, kept on mentioning that Roman has to make a call. He has to make the call, has to make the call. Roman makes the call at the end of the show, and it's the wise man that he's making the call to, but it ends up going straight to voicemail. This is very interesting. I love the story that they're playing. I wonder when the wise man will come back, when Paul Heyman will come back into the picture, but I said it before. The story's really going to progress when Paul Heyman gets back, and that's when we're really going to see if Roman will truly change. The wise man has to be there in order for Roman to really progress as a character. Can't wait to see how they play this off, how they play this story out, because the wise man has to be in the story, and it's very interesting to see how that plays out. And I like that they're teasing us. I like that they're teasing us. Now, I don't think he's gonna come before Survivor Series. I don't. I think it's not gonna happen until maybe at the show he may make his appearance, or maybe after Survivor Series he's making his return. But I can't wait to see that interaction between Paul Heyman and Roman Reigns. Can't wait to see how that plays out. But yeah, that's the end of the review. Let me know your opinions down below. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. But yeah, that's it.